Sports. Yes, this is not a usual night for us to be racing, but it is All-Star Week. We got the qualifiers going on. I am your CEO, Aquataddy. In the booth with me tonight, we have in-race reporter Keystone Cowboy. This is his third time trying to qualify this week. He's yet to advance and actually qualify, so maybe this could be the one for him. Also, I have a special guest commentator with me tonight, the funny man himself, Guardian.
Yeah, happy to be here, man. Honestly, I wish I was out there racing, but yeah, I'm looking forward to watching these guys. It was a lot of fun racing on Monday, so I imagine it's going to be just as fun watching.
All right, man. You don't have to talk as much when you're in the booth like that, like having these big conversations and stuff. Like, gosh, I'm used to Picola, right? Like, you're just supposed to be like, "Yep, I'm here."
That was the longest phrase that I'll say, I promise.
I backed out of the lobby. If you could let me know when we can join, please and thank you. Yeah, so Guardian is actually in the booth with me tonight because he's already locked into next Thursday's show. On the custom side, he's already locked in, so he doesn't have to worry about these qualifiers. I'm joining, just blue screening. So that's got to feel pretty good, right, that you're already locked into the big show on Thursday night, next Thursday night?
Yeah, for sure. It's a little weight off his shoulders. It was. I'm in a really good points position on Tuesday nights for the slider group, but I hadn't won a race yet, so I still had to qualify my way in. So yeah, that was a lot of fun on Monday. But yeah, I honestly, like I said, I miss racing. I wish I was out there, but it certainly is nice knowing I'm locked in.
Yeah, I mean, well, luckily for the drivers. What did you say?
Monday night.
Oh, the start of it?
Actually at the back this time.
No lag wrecks right out the gate is what you're hoping for?
Yeah.
Taylor out there on YouTube, he said go get him.
There you go.
Is it better?
Yep, it's good.
All right, on the pole, we have Xfinity driver qualified in on the slider side last night. That is Lane with a new paint scheme. RJ Smitty, slider, top like 3 in points, I think, and he's out here with his first custom setup race since NASCAR Heat 3. The 5-car for Harambe is already dying, and he took out Broom. Okay, going through the field, we have Tomboy in the 93. Story Square made it in the number 27. Justin Shackett in the McDonald's car, number 95. Oh, that's a Lightning McQueen car. Okay, Warpig. Private Patton in the 12. Harambe, we've seen him already wrecked. T-Bird is out there in a custom car, number 29. Keystone Cowboy, man, he was hoping nothing, not having to deal with the drama from Monday, and he's involved in the first wreck. Hopefully he can get some draft by one of these guys up here. Keith in the 17, Broom in the 62, Spanker in the 24, and that's your field. Over to you, Guardian. What are you liking so far out of this early racing?
I am liking. I'm riding on board with T-Bird right now, and I know he just got a little loose off of turn 2 and he lost a little bit of ground, but he made a 3-wide move on Story Square and Patton the last lap there. He made it look super easy. I think he's got a fast car, and he's just got to be patient here. And yeah, we see Patton going 3-wide too in the middle.
Yeah, so you've now run in the slider and in the customs, right? So you haven't run the custom qualifiers here, you know, these dash races, but you've run Auto Club already this season. You had a good, strong car. You're always the top driver in the custom setup side of the league. What is the big difference that some of these guys like Story Square, Lane, Justin Shackett, who qualified last night, these guys that run sliders on one night and then have to adjust and try to run a custom, is there a big difference, or is it pretty easy to just cross over from one platform to the other?
There's somewhat of a difference. I think it honestly helps to be on the track. I mean, any lap helps, whether it's a slider or a custom. It's just getting that track time, but it certainly drives a little bit differently. It helps to hop into the custom team for at least 15-20 laps just to get somewhat of a rhythm going in your new setup, because it certainly drives a little bit different. You kind of catch yourself the first couple laps.
Oh,
T-Bird's in the wall.
Looks like an overcorrection. I was going to say that's one of the big things that I find as a difference on the slider and the customs is you go into the corners, you really got to arch it a little bit more with the customs. The sliders tend to be a little bit tighter. Everybody's kind of got to lift a little bit more. You get to play with the gear and your setup like how loose you are, so you can kind of run the corners more wide open here. But if you do get loose on exit, because you have it the offset so strong to turn into the left with your custom setup, any bit of overcorrecting can sometimes cause you to just nail a wall, like we just seen T-Bird do right there.
Yeah, it's so easy to do, especially like you said, if you have your wheel lock or you have a certain thing to help you get through the corner. It makes it so easy to overcorrect sometimes, especially in the custom if you're already used to doing it.
Absolutely. To the viewers at home watching, if you're not watching live, you're going to catch us back later. Keep track of who is in these races. Maybe you're going to see a guy race tonight that won't be racing tomorrow that didn't qualify. I say this because after tomorrow night's race, we're going to open the gates for the fan vote to our Discord. Everybody can start voting for their favorite driver to make the All-Star race that did not qualify but attempted to run the dash races. That is the only way in, is you must have attempted the dash races in order to win the fan vote. That's Smitty, not Dad.
Oh, Smitty, sorry.
It might be his dad.
Dad will be racing tomorrow night, though.
Oh!
I hear a wreck.
It didn't really hurt Smitty that bad, though.
T-Bird spun out.
He was able to stick in lane's draft. Yeah, I think T-Bird's setup is just super loose right now.
Yeah, T-Bird's running my setup. I gave it to him at the last minute.
Yeah. And with no cautions, that's really going to hurt him.
Yeah, his night's over. I would say strongly if... Oh, big wreck on the backstretch.
Big wreck on the backstretch, Story Square.
And Smitty.
Hang on to it, Keystone.
And now Keystone.
Oh!
You know, I don't know as if I'd back out if I was involved in a wreck just yet. We're starting to see these guys all get really, really loose on the exits already, and we're only about halfway through the first run.
Oh, wrecking again. Lane,
yeah.
Oh, nice save.
Yeah, Lane almost spun out. Good save by that 60 machine, as now our new race leader is the 12 of Private Patton.
Yeah, Shackett having a good run. He's been nice and smooth and steady and quiet, up there running third right now.
Yeah, and one of his drivers, Tomboy, in that car right in front of him, that 93 of Tomboy, those are two of the Shackett drivers. They run together in the custom side. Shackett team captain, of course, qualified on the slider side last night. Tomboy, one of his drivers. He runs both technically, but he really only ever qualifies for the sliders, doesn't race, but he does race full-time in the custom side. So good to see the Shackett group up here running in the top three in the slider and contending with one of the top drivers in the whole league of Private Patton.
Absolutely. Shackett looks like he's actually backing up. Lane, is that Lane behind him?
Yeah. Now I do know.
I heard him burping it a little bit going into one.
I know Lane is in a chat with him, but I don't know if I would do that. You know, at the end of the day, chat or no chat, it's only the top 5 advance. You can't bring 5-6 people into the contention.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if I was in Shackett's shoes, I saw my teammates do this last night actually. Sludge and 10 Titans.
Yeah.
They were running up front, and it seemed like they were just glued to each other's bumper, and they were just content to either run in second and third, or third and fourth, or first and second. They weren't really racing each other. They were just glued to each other's bumpers, just willing to work with each other. And I don't think Shackett should even attempt to try to even pass Tomboy. Oh, it's Tomboy's wrecking! Oh, off a 2.
That's no bueno.
War Pig looks like he just got involved in the
again.
Tomboy flipping.
He's wrecked.
This is interesting how loose some of these guys are. And even more interesting that Tomboy, of all people, just spun out being loose. He's the self-proclaimed tightest driver in all of GC Sports. In case anybody doesn't know, that may or may not have been to the fact of him being a gay man. But back to the race lead. Patton has a good lead. We got Shackett and Lane now. They are second and third, so that idea of Shackett backing up and picking up Lane, that worked well. Now they have a 2-car draft. They're catching Patton. This is not sliders, so I don't expect Patton to just keep walking away from them. I really think this 95 of the Lightning McQueen 95 and the 60 of Lane should be able to have some run for Private Patton in that 12 here, especially on the high draft.
Yeah, they got to stick together here. That's the only way. I know. I mean, we've all raced against Patton before. If you let him get out front and let him get in his rhythm, he's gone. You know, they gotta stick with each other here and not let him get far away.
Yeah, the biggest thing is this is where your setup's really going to start coming into play as people start getting looser and looser. Patton, he just doesn't make mistakes. He's not one of those drivers that ever gets loose. He doesn't get on the apron and spin himself out. You've got to just run your line. Don't worry about who you're racing. Race the track. That's all Patton ever does. He drives the track over and over and over, and it makes him fast at each one of the tracks. Now everybody else, they see, oh, this is Private Patton, I got to race him real hard, blah, blah, blah. You make a mistake, he gets to walk off, and at the end of the day, they did what they needed to, two cars working together, and now they're in his draft all over again. I did talk about how, you know, I wouldn't back out if I was somebody that already wrecked tonight. Like, I know Broom and Keystone aren't really good friends, but we got a two-car pack back here. Keystone spun out, of course, earlier, but they have the draft. And I'm watching 4th and 5th there behind, you know, our top three. And that's two single cars. The 25 is Spenker's running all by himself. And let's see, I don't even know who's behind him in the running order. Looks like Keith in the 17. So if you have a two-car draft, you could easily go and catch these guys.
Yeah, and I'm trying. You know, I know, like you said, you know, me and him haven't exactly had the bestest of friendships, you know, over the last few years. But right now, I'm trying not to get too close to him because I don't want to be bumping in the corners as loose as, you know, the cars would about to be getting. But still trying to push him and have him pull me at the same time, see if we can reel these guys in.
Now, what position are you running in?
Me and Broom are 7th and 8th.
Okay, so I mean, 4th, 5th, 6th are all 4th, 5th, and 6th are all single cars, right? So the two of you guys together, you still have plenty of laps to try to catch these guys, right? And Lane's gonna go with him.
Oh, we still got more laps than that.
Well, I'm saying you guys still have to pit, right? So you're probably still close to 30 to 35 laps left, right?
36.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Well, like Daddy said, I mean, Taddy.
I knew you'd get it in there, huh?
Yeah, I had to sneak one in. Like, if you're T-Bird there, I don't know if I would have backed out. I mean, we've seen two big wrecks since he backed out, and that's at least 4 or 5 positions that he would have been ahead of. And all it takes is these leaders, you know, one of these leaders clipping the apron and spinning out, and you see another 2 or 3 car wreck, and you never know what's going to happen, especially if you get down 5, 10 laps to go. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. So that's one of the things that I like about races without cautions. It really shows the resiliency. Like our Xfinity Series, for example, Lane is one of the top drivers in the Xfinity Series right now. Points-wise, not so much because he showed up a little late in the season, but you're going to make up points, you're going to make up positions by, if something happens to you, just stay out on the track. Especially tonight, knowing there's 2 nights of this, right? Like, learn your setup. If it's too loose tonight, don't try to make big adjustments. Learn what you can do and what you can't do to make those adjustments properly. As well as, you know, maybe something does happen, like we've seen those other couple big wrecks, and you're able to make some room and get up there and pass. As the 12 moves the 95 to get back into the lead up here up front.
Shackett's doing a good job, though. He's just, he passed him. You know, let him know I'm not here to just run behind you and draft. I'm here to race for this lead. And here we go again. Underneath him, he's going to clear him.
I believe Broom is pitting. Cut down to the left, or he might have just been loose.
Yeah, Shackett got moved in 1 and 2. Patton did just like he did here, got underneath him and kind of drifted up and got into him there in 1 and 2. Shackett said, okay, I'll let you go. And then used that high draft and did the crossover there in 3 and 4. As Patton.
Somebody just pitted.
But like we were saying, I mean, Shackett does a good thing and helping Lane. He backed up earlier in the race. We saw it. He was burping the throttle so that he could pick up his draft, and now here we are battling for the lead, and Lane is choosing to obviously go with Shackett. So that just shows if you give some respect out there, you're going to get some right back.
Looked like that time Shackett come down a little bit on the 12 car. That's where the contact was. But I'm seeing a lot of contact between these two cars. The best part is, though, you're not really going to be able to tell who hit who. They're both red and yellow cars. But the paint's just going to rub off and look like it's supposed to. Out there on YouTube, we got Jose Protege said, don't show Patton what you got till the end. Listen, I don't disagree with that fact at all. I would almost even be content if I was Shackett and Lane, sitting back, letting Patton run by himself the whole run until the very last part of the race, and then all of a sudden use your draft, catch him, and try to make these types of moves. This is a lot of... What?
Shackett can run hard here. He's just got to make sure to not slide his tires too much.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
For 3 laps battling, and then you're going to suffer for the next 15 laps.
Well, and outside of that, you know, you can battle hard, but any mistake, if you're on the inside of Patton and Patton gets loose, right? Not that he ever does, but if Patton were to get loose and he comes down and hits you, you're spinning into the inside wall. For side-by-side racing, when there's still 30 laps to go. Lane got up.
Both of them cars are swerving back and forth.
Yeah. They're warming up the tires at 200 miles an hour. But don't look right now. But that 25 car Spanker is catching this top three as they are battling.
Yeah, Spanker was one of those guys I raced with on Monday, and that group, he's solid here for sure.
Yeah, and if anybody has ever raced a Spanker, you know that if he gets to these top three, he is not just going to ride in fourth. He is going to do everything he can to get to first place.
Yep.
And so that anybody else knows, I just scrolled through the field. You all just seen everybody else's single car throughout the field. So that's why we're sticking with the leaders. Also because, well, they're the leaders.
Yeah, Lane's just content, I think, to run with Shackett here, but I think he's got a fast car. I think Lane's definitely got a car to contend with here.
Is that better out there, Jose? He told me to reset my mic. Are you hearing the static right now, Guardian?
No, I mean, it wasn't horrible like it was earlier, but no, it seems alright. It sounds fine now, though.
Yeah, you said it looks good. It sounds good.
Sorry, had a phone call.
While you were racing?
Yep.
95 gets loose, or he's pitting.
Or he's pitting. Looks like Patton's going to pit with him. I didn't see the lane signals.
Yeah, it looks like all of them went down to the bottom, including Spanker. Spanker back there in that 25. Now let's see, and Shackett and Lane have done this. Yeah, Shackett and Lane have done this. So is Spanker on Monday, but Patton is yet to. Let's see if they remember, and they do, that there is no black flags. Is that Keith still in fifth?
On my screen, Patton hit the barrier to the entrance of the wall, and he was just gone.
On my screen, him and Shackett were inside of each other's car. I love how that does different stuff.
Was that in it? Never mind.
What? No, that was not. That was not one of those jokes.
An innuendo.
Now, in fairness, right, so the joke I made about Tomboy earlier, just so we're clear, to anybody that did hear it and thinks that maybe, like, oh, Taddy doesn't like gays or something like that, that was a joke that him and I had talked about, awesome, that I was going to say on air.
Yeah. He's a really good guy.
I met him in another league that I used to run.
Okay, Keith coming to pit road did miss pit road, just went flying through the grass and spinning and wrecking on the inside wall. Now, mind you, I think he was in fifth. Oh, he's backed out of the race. He just quit.
Man, Shackett did a whale of a job getting off the pit road there.
See if I can find Shackett. I found him.
He's got about a
second lead.
8 car length lead over Patton, yeah.
Yeah. Jose, remember there's no black flags in here, so they can come in as hot as they want to, but I think what happened was he got down on that apron a little too early, and it started getting him loose, and he overcorrected and missed pit road. To what you were saying, Guardian, yeah, Shackett has a great lead right now over Patton and Lane. It's not going to last very long. If Patton does exactly what Shackett did earlier and backs up to that 60 car, they will catch Shackett within probably 2 laps. However, he's not doing that. He's still out there racing, trying to just outright catch him.
Yeah, I think if I'm Lane in this scenario, do you back up and pick up Broom? So that you
that's not Broom.
Get the 2 of them together to go and
that's Spanker.
Oh, that's Spanker back there? Oh, yeah. Sorry.
You're doing horrible at these names.
I know. I'm not
Welcome to the broadcast booth.
I'm not used to seeing everybody in different cars.
On the broadcast, they said. It'd be fun, they said.
Yeah.
Shackett's up here saying, I am speed. We got Sludge out there in YouTube land saying that he would be battling Patton hard and pushing his limits. You could have just stopped at pushing him. We all understand that. I'm just kidding, of course.
Well, Broom just took over 5th from Warpig.
And you guys were running with Broom, right?
Yep, he pitted a few laps before me.
And it seemed to benefit him.
I don't know, I'm already reeling him in.
Yeah, you're reeling them in, but now there's 2 of them, right? So if Warpig has good enough tires to be able to stay with Broom, then they would have the draft.
I got a story right in front of me.
Oh, I don't see a story on my screen.
Warpig looks pretty loose. I don't know that was a little lag or what. But
I'm seeing his car glitching left to right, which tends to happen. Okay, so I see Spanker got around Lane. So Lane must actually feel that he's a better push car than pull car.
Yep.
But I also see that Patton has caught Shackett. So now you got 2-on-2 up front. The battle for 5th is between Broom and Warpig, but Warpig seems to have a little bit of lag and not quite the same speed that Broom has. So Broom holds that pretty solidly right now. And then we have Warpig, Story Square, who we can't see on our screen. At least I can't. And then Keystone rounding out the top 8.
What is it with you not being able to see Story?
He has lag problems. Like Monday, that big lag right out the gate was him lagging.
As Patton takes the lead.
Wait, so Story's not? He's not out of the race?
No,
No,
he's
he's
right. See, it's not just me. He can't see.
He's on pit road on my screen as well.
Oh, okay.
It happens a lot frequently, actually. Gator Mike in the Cobra League every week would be not shown on the track, right? And so, like, even on restarts, it would just be like an empty square on the restart.
Yeah, I remember that happened to KB Showtime earlier.
When he won a race.
Yeah.
He won the race and nobody knew, right? He made like the last 2-lap pass to get the lead, and nobody even knew he was making a pass because you couldn't see him.
Wow. That's funny.
While his family was probably unfortunately watching.
Yeah, Showtime has the biggest fan base in all of GC Sports. Nobody sees him get his one win. They probably all stopped even. Go ahead.
Lane's doing a good job of sticking with the 25 here, but I don't know.
I'm a little surprised.
Doesn't really look like they're gaining on him that much.
The 95 doesn't seem to have the same speed now that he did earlier with staying with the 12 car. Now, I don't know if that's because he doesn't have that extra air push behind him, with the 60 not behind him, be able to push him right back to the 12. Or, but I do think, to go with what you were saying, not being able to catch these leaders quite as quick, the 25 seems to be a little too tight on exit of corners, and whereas the 60 is holding it a little bit lower, right? So I think that's the cause of them not really making up a lot of ground. As Keystone has gotten around Warpig for 7th place now. 6th place.
Atta boy.
So where's Story?
He's in 6th. Warpig's from 8th. Yeah, I'm 6th. Story
you got
7th.
around
Warpig
Story.
8th.
So that's the gap between you and Warpig is Story.
Yeah, he's right in between us.
Okay.
So you're chasing Broom. Right.
Yep, I'm 2nd and a half back.
So it's looking like the battle's actually going to end up being.
At least somewhat stick with you. It seems like his car really fell off here.
Listen, I disconnected. I'm going to try to take that second invite that you had sent me, Keystone, so that I can get into this race and see Story Square actually on track. Because it seems as though that's going to be pretty important at the end of the race. Looks like you guys are going to be having a good battle for 5th place.
Yeah.
Hopefully you sent me more than one invite.
Shackett's doing a good job sticking with Pat.
Hold on, you're going to have to say that again. I was blue screen. Go ahead.
I just said Shackett's doing a good job of sticking with Pat, and he's only about 3 car lengths behind him, and I don't think that Spanker and Lane, I think, yeah, they're gaining a little bit. They are gaining a little bit.
I do want to throw out that we are at that point now that if anybody was paying attention to their tire wear when they pit this last time, we are within 20 to go now. So if you get 22 to the tank, if you had more than 50s on your right side when you pit, or you thought you could make, another 10 laps or so with your right sides, you are in the window now that you might be trying to do some strategy type stuff. If you're Keystone, Story Square, Broom did it. Whoa.
Yeah, he pitted about 4 laps before I did.
That was awesome. I came back to the race, and it had Keith, instead of on pit road, it had him on the middle of the track park, and Shackett just nailed him and started wrecking, and then it fixed itself, and now nobody's wrecking.
I'm on, how many laps are there to go, Keystone? 18. Okay, I'm riding with RJ Smitty right here, and he has had an abysmal race, but his car seems very fast, his line seems good, his car seems stable, and he's about to catch Warpig here.
Yeah, I don't.
he's pitting right now. I think he's gonna pit, get early, fresh tires, try to gain some track position. I think he's got a fast car. I don't know if he can get back up there, but
I don't know if I do the tires. I don't think taking tires is going to benefit you in any way, shape, or form here. If you have to take tires, you got to do 2. If you take 4, yeah, I'm gonna keep on him and see how long he's on pit road. A 15-second stop just is not. It's not going to benefit you with a 6 or 7 lap difference.
No, it's not. Believe me, I know. I did this Monday.
At the same time, in his position, I mean, what do you got to lose?
Yeah, true.
You're running 9th, you're running 4, 5, 6 seconds behind 5th. You know, you got to try something.
Well, what I like the early pit stop. Broom did it earlier. I'm sure he took 4 tires, right? So he gained a lot. But what I've always thought, and at super speedways, right, like Talladega, Daytona, and Auto Club Michigan, they're not really a whole lot different. But it's all about being in the car with the momentum and up to speed. So if you pit first, even 1 lap earlier, it's not always the fresh tires that makes you end up taking the lead. It's the fact that you did pit that lap early. You're already up to speed. Everybody else is coming off pit road. You're able to get around them and kind of take that position.
And they're going to run their cars down trying to catch us.
Right, and so it evens everything out while they're trying to chase you with those last 6, 7 laps.
So back to the battle for second. Spanker and Lane caught Shaq.
Oh yeah, I'm right.
They're running maybe half a second, 3/4 of a second behind Pat now, so they gotta not race at all. They have to, if they wanna, fifth is way back there, so, maybe they want to battle this out if they feel like they can still race and still
do
fourth place.
I mean, I gotta be honest. It doesn't really matter. They don't need to go past Patton in advance, right? Like they've already advanced.
Yeah.
You don't have to win.
But
this is when you just run 90% and just stick to the guy's bumper.
But if you do want to win and you want the bragging right, if I was this group of 3 right now, I would come down to pit road.
Patton is the guy that you want to beat because Patton wins so many races. He's so good at every single track that we go to. When you beat a guy like Patton or a guy like Flash 9, who seems like they win every week, it's like you said, it's some bragging rights. It makes you, I don't know, it makes you feel good about yourself.
Well, and you got to know, right? Like, so the end of the All-Star race, we will be at Auto Club. Yes, I said the end. That does not mean the start of the All-Star race next week. But we will be finishing at Auto Club, right? So you kind of got to scout yourself to the competition. No, you don't have to win, but you also don't want to show what you have if you're in an advancing spot, right? Like from the 25 to 95 to 60 here, and I know I can advance. Why show the 12 what I can and can't do in the late run? There's no reason to do that. You can see what the 12's got to do, and if you can't seem to catch him and I'm the 12, why would I adjust my car? I just kicked everyone's butt by 2 seconds without draft, right? Like, little does he know, they're only going 85%. Like stuff like that is huge in these races. Racing is as much of a mental game as it is a physical and actual driving game.
But at the same time, we're all racers and we all want to win. It doesn't matter what race we're in, we all want to win.
Oh yeah, no, I'm saying that's the mentality I'm saying that as a broadcaster. Yeah.
To be content to finish second. It takes a lot of discipline.
Yeah, I'm saying all this sitting here.
I'm not sure if that was a signal or not. I know you don't got to go all the way to the apron. You look like you signaled.
I think he just got loose that time. It didn't seem to signal at the same time as he did last time, like same spot as last time. But I'm saying all this running 80-85% as a broadcaster, like that's what you should do. But as a driver, I'm going 100% right now, trying to do everything I can to catch Patton. Do you know what I mean? Like when I'm on the track, I'm acting a lot different than what I say you should do.
Absolutely.
Back here, I got Warpig with 93 of Tomboy. So Warpig's car is falling off bad here, and he's already done his final stop.
He must have pit early. He must have pit early. Well, he came down pit road with Smitty, didn't he?
No, with Broom. Oh yeah, it was Smitty.
Yeah, it was Smitty. See, I finally got a name right.
Yeah, when I got it wrong, go figure. And Smitty's well ahead of him, racing actually with Broom, just up ahead of him. So Keystone, you should be in a top 5 position right now.
Right now I am.
Story Square's on pit road, but this time he's actually driving down pit road on my screen. So he's not out of the race. He's going down pit road.
So what position are you in, Keystone?
Right now I'm in 5th with 9.5 laps to go. I've still got 4 laps to go.
Pit road's going to be a busy place shortly.
Yep.
And Smitty is behind you, but he's a lap down, correct?
Correct. Smitty's already pit.
Right.
I mean, this is where you got to.
Me right now is Tom Boy, and he's 6 seconds back.
Yeah, he's right there pushing Warpig. This is where, if you're going to do something on pit road to try to make up the gap, you got to do it now. This is where, you know what I mean? If I'm Keystone, you're in a tough spot because everybody that you're racing for position has already done their pit stop. So you're kind of laid in your bed that you're going to push the issue. But these top 4 drivers, I just don't know why the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th haven't come to pit road.
But like you're saying about Smitty, if he came in and took 4 tires, and he's out there running super fast lap times right now, he's gaining seconds and seconds and seconds on these front runners. Or maybe not, because they're in a draft, which he's drafting right now with Broom, but you know the leaders having a 3-car draft are probably running just as fast, if not faster. But it's going to be interesting to see when they pit how this all evens out.
Yeah, I really
think
think.
They're not taking 4 tires. We know none of the leaders are taking 4 tires.
I mean, at most they're going to take 2 tires, right?
Yeah.
This is where it comes down to what was your
Catching
plan?
Patton. They're almost there.
Did you have any intentions of taking 4 tires? And if you did, you pit early. If you plan on doing 2 tires or no tires, you're going to run it to the end.
Yeah.
You're going to run the tank dry.
On Monday, I felt like that was the best thing to do, was to run it as long. I was going to pit with the group of cars that I was in, and we ran it as long as we could, and we took 2 tires. That's what I think. See Patton,
everybody, they're all signaling.
They're all coming. Yep.
See, and I don't like that. If I'm the 25, well, I mean, they just made up a lot of ground right there while Patton was signaling, but I don't like it. If you're going to try to win the race, you got to do something different than the guy that's a second ahead of the field the whole race.
Yeah, but I mean, once Patton signaled, they're not going to want to stay out a lap longer. You know.
Well, that's where
they would have had to pit the lap before. So I feel like
right. Well, that's where it becomes tricky, though, because Patton comes out with nobody. Yeah, Patton comes out with nobody at all. 0 draft, right? These guys still have 3 cars drafting. If now you come off pit road, if your 3-car tandem gets broken up, you essentially made up no time at all. But it did look like when Patton signaled, it looked like that group of 3 made up a lot of ground.
Yeah, they were already there. They had already caught him going down the front stretch.
Smitty is now ahead of Broom. Now, mind you, before the pit stops, Broom was the car in 5th, ahead of Keystone and Story Square and them, right? Smitty is now ahead of Broom and Story Square.
Alright, so the leaders just came off pit road. Smitty and Broom aren't even going to start finish line yet, so...
Okay, so Patton and Spanker, I'm thinking, took no tires, where Lane and Shackett took 2 tires. That's about the right distance for that, right?
That looks like, yep, I agree, yeah.
And then Smitty...
Shackett's got to get to Lane's bumper here.
Should be Keystone in 5th place right now. Still, just ahead of Smitty in that group of cars. Is that accurate, Keystone?
Yeah.
That's 6th and 7th behind you?
Yep.
And 8th. Story Square's right there with those 2. Hey, Story Square's with both those cars. They have a 3-car pack.
Okay. Just hit your marks.
5 to go.
Don't even look in that mirror.
5 to go, but these 3 are racing. You can see Smitty on your screen and Broom, but Story Square's underneath Smitty right now, trying to make a pass.
That helps Keystone.
Yeah, that's silly to me. I don't know why they would be doing that. I don't know if they have enough time anyways. That's like half a backstretch, 3/4 of a backstretch they got to make up. And again, on my screen, I'm watching Story Square going back underneath Smitty as they get ready to enter turn 3, while they're looks like about 3 seconds behind Keystone for the actual transfer spot as they're coming to 4 laps to go this time by.
4 to go here. Patton's got about a 4 or 5 car length lead over Spanker. I think those front runners are just totally content with where they're running right now.
They should be.
Yeah, those 4 are locked, right? Like, so that's why I'm kind of riding along with this second group as they're getting ready to come to 3 to go. Oh, that's the backstretch. Sorry.
Shackett's under Lane, racing for 3rd. As we just say, they're content.
Smitty just got loose. Smitty just got loose on exit of 2. lost all the ground. Story Square is now about a second ahead of, or about 3/4 of a second ahead of Smitty and Broom. Smitty's in the grass now.
Nice save. Looked like he clipped the apron. Nice save. That's probably going to seal the deal for him there.
I think that's going to seal the deal for that whole group of 3 now. They're just too spread out. Even Keystone, if he's running slower, they had a 3-car pack that had all the draft in the world and could have easily caught Keystone. They have 3 laps to go, and it looks like they're still about 2.5 seconds behind Keystone.
He said, I can't see Story Square. How far ahead is Keystone?
On 1.6 seconds ahead of 6th.
And Story looks to be about a second ahead of Broom.
He's almost a full second ahead of Broom.
I'm learning.
0.8 of a second ahead of Broom.
It's like I've done this a whole bunch of times or something. I'm riding along with Story Square just so the viewers at home know we have 2 laps to go. If anybody is going to have a shot at advancing other than those in the top 5, it would be Story Square. It does look like he's gaining on Keystone, but I don't think he's gaining enough as we have just a lap and a half remaining here.
Broom just disappeared on my screen.
Yeah, he disappeared on my screen.
Must have had an engine expiration. Leaders, have they taken the white?
Yes, they have.
Alright, I'm going to get on with the leader here. There's Patton. He's going to advance over Spanker. I mean, barring anybody getting loose or wrecking on this lap, right? But let's be honest, these top 4 have had the car to beat all night.
Yep.
So we're going to have Patton, Spanker, Justin Shackett in the lane. Finish 1, 2, 3, 4, and the battle for 5th is close. Story is right there. That's like a 0.3 of a second.
Yes.
Too little, too late though, as Keystone is going to an advance.
Keystone.
I told you it's the wheel, not being on that stupid controller.
See, you don't need a new wheel. Don't listen to Daddy. I mean, Taddy.
He got a new wheel. What do you mean?
My puppy ate the USB cord from my old wheel.
What kind of puppy?
A dog.
She was a Australian Shepherd.
Oh.
Sadly, she got struck by lightning last week, and I lost her and my husky.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the husky liked to sit
sorry,
on top of the shepherd's kennel, kind of like tease her, like, ha-ha, looking down at her, because she's still a puppy, like, ha-ha, you're still in there and I'm not.
Yeah.
And lightning hit the fence post outside and hit the ground and traveled through the opening between the door and the floor and the wall where the door jammed, because there's no rubber seal, nothing ground in it. And the kennel was right next to the door. So, seeing how we lost both of them, we're assuming that's what happened. That's what the reports look like.
My God. I'm so sorry, man. That's terrible.
I would honestly let her eat 100 of those if she was still here with us. But yeah, so I had to get a new one.
So the 5 drivers advancing. We just told you Smitty looks to have hit a 6 in that race. I don't know what Patton got. I'm going to check the leaderboard real quick while we're on air.
Well, I guess I'm just helping with actual.
Probably your dad, Smitty, top of the lineup with Story Square. Private Patton hit a 8 was his fastest lap tonight. So probably your dad again. He's not racing tonight, but he will be out there tomorrow, and he's with a 5:88 top of the leaderboard on the daily. So expecting some speed out of him tomorrow night. Smitty, not happy with Story Square. The Discord's already blowing up with those drivers. But per usual, as we've done all week, we're not going to do post-race interviews. Tune in tomorrow night. I expect more drivers.
I know there's. Thank all the sponsors. Even though I don't know what they are.
I know that there is at least 2 more. I know there's at least 2 more drivers that are racing tomorrow night that didn't race tonight. Of course, we're losing the 5 of these guys. But honestly, Thursday is normal. What?
Go ahead.
Well, Thursday's normal custom night, right? So the normal drivers that show up on Thursday but may have leagues on Wednesdays.
Just like last night.
Right. That's the normal night for racing is tomorrow night. Wednesday's kind of just a special night, so I expect to see more drivers. And I might try to get somebody to do the broadcast tomorrow so I myself can go down, hit the track. Looks like a lot of fun.
It is. It's fun. And yeah, you should definitely run. But Guardian, Teddy, from tonight, of those who did advance, who do you think's probably got the best handle on things that we've seen tonight? Who might be running tomorrow?
Smitty was by far the fastest. I think the guy that had the worst luck was Tomboy.
All right, so look out for those two tomorrow night.
I agree. I think RJ Smitty's going to be the car to beat tomorrow. But
Honestly, I think Story was doing pretty decent.
Yep, I couldn't see him, but from what you guys were saying, it sounded like he was doing a good job. But you know, but also like Taddy said, there's also going to be some drivers out there tomorrow that we did not see tonight that are going to be super fast as well. So Smitty's going to have to, you know, he's certainly going to be fast, but you know, you still got to bring your A game tomorrow. It's their last shot.
Well, this is how I look at it. Spanker was one of the top 4 drivers. Probably your dad is racing tomorrow night. Smitty is racing.
Attaboy.
So, probably your dad, Smitty, and Spanker, they're all slider drivers that decided to attempt the All-Star race, right? For the custom side, which is we're allowing. Anybody in the GC Sports era, right? Like, in our Discord or in our community is welcome to attempt these All-Star races, right? Those 3 work hand in hand on everything they do, qualifying, slider setups, and I know for a fact they're all running the exact same custom setup. And so Spanker running in the top 3 all night, Smitty having all that speed, probably your dad's definitely going to be something to watch, and we've all seen him on the slider side. He's a dominant driver just like Patton is. So I really think that Smitty and probably your dad are going to be 2 definitely to watch for the win. But I think the guy that shocked me tonight was Tomboy. He had a lot of speed. He was involved in that wreck that actually was because when Smitty got loose there, Tomboy ended up involved in that wreck. Same as Keystone, right? Keystone just rebounded from it. So I think those are your drivers you're really going to watch.
Yeah. Also T-Bird. T-Bird had a really good start to the race, and then
he only lasted 1 lap before he spun out, though.
Lap 3 or whatever that was. Yeah, he had a really good start to the race, but it certainly ended quick. So,
I think it was lap 2. Right, I think it was lap 2. He got loose and hit the wall, right, and then the next lap he spun out. So he's got some adjusting on that car to do. It's a little too loose apparently for his liking, but
especially on lap 2, your car should not be spinning out on lap 2.
No, if it's spinning out on lap 2, it's going downhill from there. So when he spun on lap 3 and backed out, I don't blame him for that one. The people that were involved in other people's wrecks that backed out, those ones I wouldn't have done, right? But the people that if you're spinning out on your own within 2 laps, yeah, definitely just back out and go fix your shit. Stuff.
And like you said, you know, you could have used this as a test session or something, but you know, you never know. Somebody could have used an experiment setup there, and they spun out on lap 2 or 3, and they realized right away, nope, this is junk, and they just backed out anyways, because there's no sense to, you know, run with that setup if you're not going to use it anyways. So,
I agree completely.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate you letting me do this, man. I know
Yeah, thanks for joining me, funny man.
Yeah, no problem.
Yep. Keystone finally got over the 7th place issues that he's been having. Funny man was in the booth with me for the first time ever, I think. Yeah, and then you'll see Guardian in both All-Star races. He qualified. Keystone now is going to be in the All-Star race for the customs, not the sliders, which is funny because he's a cup driver on the sliders and not on the custom side. So funny how that worked out. And then, like I said, if I can get somebody up in the booth, I should be on track tomorrow night. But for myself, Aquataddy, Guardian, who helped me in the booth, Keystone, who's our in-race reporter, thank you guys for tuning in. Tune in tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, same time, and we will be going green for our final All-Star qualifying event of the week, which means all we'll have left is the fan vote and the actual All-Star races next week. Also, tune in tomorrow night. I will be on air during the broadcast, whether I broadcast or somebody else does. I'll be on air during the broadcast to announce exactly how the All-Star event is going to take place next week for both the sliders and the custom. So if anybody wants to hear exactly what's going to happen, tune in tomorrow night. You're going to hear it. So yeah, other than that, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow night.